Yo, dudes, I am just getting set up. We have Food Tribe founder Terence here. I hope everyone is doing well. This beautiful Thursday of election week 2020. So if you'll just bear with me as I get set up, we are going to talk a little bit about Food Tribe's restaurant bailout campaign. So just give me a minute as I start sharing these streams across all of our different social networks. Apologies for the delay. Okay. While we're getting set up, awesome. Yeah, I think we're all good. So while you are getting set up, I should say, let me just give you some background. Food Tribe started doing, we launched our restaurant bailout campaign, I want to say in March of 2020. This was right when COVID-19 had really kind of taken a foothold on the country. We had moved towards a quarantine, and businesses were shutting down, particularly the restaurant industry. Eating and dining as we knew it had changed, and Food Tribe just was watching the situation, trying to figure out the best way that we as a community of eaters, a food tech platform that is committed to connecting good people to good food. We really wanted to figure out a way to to understand what was happening in the market, in this space, before we went out and made some recommendations. And unfortunately, we didn't really like what we were seeing, right? So if you look back to how the federal government responded to COVID-19 and in particular to the restaurant industry, a lot of the federal funds that they had allocated in order to keep businesses up and going ended up going to major corporations, right? The fast food chains and, a lot of the different restaurant chains, multi-location restaurant chains, I should say, that really don't need the funds as desperately as a lot of the small business owners, particularly in South Los Angeles, which, is where Food Tribe is based. And so we started a weekly video just like this saying, hey, we are pissed off and frustrated about what's happening in the restaurant space. And we really want to figure out a solution for this, right? And that conversation turned into more conversations, and people just started hopping in. And before you know it, we had a group of 26 different change makers in Los Angeles, or throughout the world, I should say, who were committed to solving this problem with us of, bailing out America's restaurant industry. So, before COVID-19 had hit, the restaurant industry in America was projected to do $1 trillion in revenue. And, obviously that number is, just not on track anymore, just because of, circumstances, I guess you could say. It's we're all doing the very best that we can. But it wasn't just COVID-19 that hit us, right? It was, some of the civil and social unrest that we were seeing in the streets. It was, we're all of a sudden re-questioning our values in terms of what food justice and equity meant, right? Particularly in a city like Los Angeles, where 16% of the population doesn't know where they're going to get their food from. And so, again, like we continued this process of, meeting with 26 other change makers over a period of 6 weeks in order to figure out what the problem was and what we could do about it. That turned into a deliverable, a packet where we really just did our best to write a synopsis of the industry and what's going on, and how the different restaurants and eaters and different stakeholders were being affected by COVID-19 and by Black Lives Matters. And the before you know it, that turned into a conversation with a international pasta chain, Berea Pasta. If you're not familiar with Berea, they are the blue box pasta, and I'm sure I've got one in my kitchen, but I'm not going to get it. If you have a chance, go to barilla.com in order to learn a little bit more about Berea. But a friend of Food Tribe over at Berea just was really compelled by our story, compelled about the work that we were doing. And, as a result of that, we got a bit of seed funding in order to help us continue to explore our restaurant bailout campaign. And so, we're kicking back our community meetings. Yes, our community meetings, just because we understand how important the community's community's involvement is to this process, right? So every Thursday, at least at the end of this month, I'm going to be going live once a week to talk about bailing out the restaurant industry and how eating and dining and COVID-19 and all the civil and social unrest, how is that impacting you? How is it impacting the world? How is it impacting America? What are some things that we can do in order to solve that problem, right? I'm also very, very, very super excited to announce that we are going to be launching 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marquee events over the course of 2021 in order to take some of these experiences that we're having online, our blogs, our Facebook communities, and really put a name to the face, right? We want to get in touch with you in person. Obviously we want to do it in a socially distanced and a COVID friendly manner. So the plan is that these events are going to be a combination of hybrid and virtual, or the hybrid events, I should say. So they are hybrid of both virtual and physical. So more details on that to come. I definitely want to throw the names out to you guys, but I want to be respectful of our internal team and some of the hard work that they've been doing. We really want this to be, we want it to be good. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know if you guys haven't had an opportunity to head over to the Food Tribe blog, but our most recent post, our letter from the editor in October 2020, talks a little bit more about why it is that we're doing what we're doing, and talks about what our approach to some of these problems that we're seeing are going to be, right? And we do believe that our events, our marquee events, are going to be really, really important in order to help us figure out some of the different ways in order to bail out the restaurant industry. So that is all the housekeeping work that I have. More news to come, but I definitely want you guys to, keep chatting with me. We're gonna talk a little bit today for our restaurant bailout campaign. And what I mean by that is I want to get a little bit of feedback from you guys in terms of, how has eating and dining changed for you? If you're live with me right now, do me a favor and drop a comment in the comment section. Just, talk to us about eating and dining. Like what's food been like for you in 2020, right? Like I'm sure if you're like a lot of the foodies that I've been hanging out with, COVID has completely killed your travel plans. So no hopping on a plane in order to get that special meal that you've been, wanting to get. Maybe you're ordering out more, right? There's a ton of delivery platforms out there right now, maybe DoorDash or Uber Eats or something along those lines, because, the restaurants that you like to frequent or go to are closed right now. Or maybe, are you cooking more at home? Do us a favor, and if you're watching the replay, that's totally cool too, but drop a comment in the comment section and let us know how eating has been for you. What's that been like? And while I give you a couple seconds, I'm gonna start sharing my screen and give you a little bit of time. I'll give you a little bit of a timer. Okay, give me a sec. All right. So I'm gonna give you until, let me give you 1 minute. I don't know if you guys can see my screen yet. Okay, no, you can't. Okay. All right. Actually, I'll give you 30 seconds. We don't need that much time. 30 seconds. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. And I'll just tell you when we got 30 seconds left. So the question again is, drop a comment in the comment section. How have your eating habits changed as a result of COVID-19, as a result of the quarantine, as a result of the lockdown? Drop a comment in the comment section for your boy one time, please. Just a couple seconds left, but I'll give you guys some more time. I'll give you the full minute. And we're going to watch a couple of videos. I'm going to show you a quick article, and then we're going to get you guys on out of here. But the question again is, how has eating and dining changed for you in light of COVID-19? How have your habits had to change? That's loud. Okay. And I've got a survey for you. If my computer will load. So there's actually been some research on this already, right? But we don't know what the research is telling us quite yet. But if you head over to businessinsider.com and you run a quick search, they have an article on how people are changing the way they cook, dine, and drink as they prepare for a stay-at-home summer. This was back in June, right? So we've all been at home for the summer, but I just thought it was kind of fascinating, right? So here, let's take a couple seconds to watch this quick video. And that's not going to play. Okay. But so what we're hearing, again, as a result of COVID-19, as a result of coronavirus, is that our daily routines have had to change, right? So the way that we eat, drink, the way that we shop for groceries, the way that we're spending time in the kitchen has changed. We're trying to figure out cleanliness. We're trying to figure out, what's open. We're trying to figure out what is able to be delivered to us, right? It looks like some people are focusing a little bit more on, getting better at cooking. The article does discuss some of the different ways that people are focusing more on really getting better at their favorite comfort foods, right? So the foods that make them feel good, because COVID-19 doesn't make people feel good, right? It doesn't, it's not, nobody likes it. So I totally can buy into that, right? I also think it's super fascinating that takeout business has actually increased, right? So what we've been reading or what we've been interpreting is that a lot of the restaurants that weren't prepared to offer pickup or delivery only service, have suffered the most. Those are the ones that we were seeing shut down the most, right? But those businesses that did have pickup and delivery, built in and ready to go, well, those ended up being a little bit more successful than some of the others, right? So what else is this article is saying? It's saying, so the coronavirus has had a profound impact on our daily routines, the way that we work out, travel, socialize, parent, go to school, and stay entertained, or perhaps altered forever. The same goes for the way that we eat and grocery shop. So after talking to chefs and food industry professionals, as well as Insider Review colleagues and friends, it's clear that many of us have adjusted our cooking routines in light of new safety measures and a corresponding increase in time spent indoors. So what's that been like for you? I mean, again, like, this is your opportunity to participate, guys. Restaurant Bailout is all about empowering you in order to help the restaurants that are members of our communities that we love, whose food we love, who we want to support, in order to, help them stay in business, right? And, obviously, restaurants are just a small piece, excuse me, of our whole food system, right? Our food, like restaurants are, they're oftentimes buying their groceries from the same grocery stores and farmers markets that you and I go to, right? Those farmers markets and those grocery stores are impacted by COVID, right? So what can we do in order to make sure that the restaurants that we want to support have the right types of groceries or the right types of products in order to keep them in business, right? So just something to consider. What else is this article saying? It's saying, keep reading for the full stories of how people are adapting in the kitchen during the pandemic. So many are using this opportunity to embark on new cooking and baking endeavors. And so I don't know if they're talking, I don't remember if they were talking about people starting their own business. I believe it's people, cooking more at home. But again, what are you cooking these days? Like, right? What are you being more adventurous in terms of, your eating and dining habits? Are you eating more of the same? Or are you eating less of the same? Are you trying new and different things? Personally, I've seen myself in the kitchen a lot more. Just being at home all day like drives me bonkers. And so if I'm not going to the grocery store in order to just walk around and like pick up some new stuff, then I find myself at least once a week coming back and cooking too much food that I know I'm not going to eat. So like I'm either freezing meals or maybe I'm just cooking stuff in order to give it away because that's my love language. I like to share food and meals with people. What about you? Are you embarking on any cooking and baking endeavors? Have you made anything cool? Drop a comment. Let us know. Yeah, see, they're talking here about meal delivery services, right? So I'll drop a comment once this video gets done so you guys have an opportunity, or excuse me, yeah, once this video gets done to this article, I would love for you to check it out. Give me your feedback. How, again, I want to know how are you changing the way that you cook, dine, and drink, as you start figuring out this whole COVID-19 thing, right? It looks like there's going to be another wave. So we're going to have to figure out, the best way to continue to eat and dine beginning in 2021. I've got a video I want to show you guys before we get out of here. Let me see. So, one thing that, our topic today in particular was about how eating has changed as a result of the election, right? And I know, nobody wants to talk about it. It's, I think we're all tired of the 24/7 news and who is elected and who is not elected and blah, blah, blah. But, if we're being perfectly honest, right? Like, believe it or not, the news and the way that we quite literally eat our news, right? We're exposed to it, and it impacts us in a lot of different ways. Man, I can't find this video. So sorry, just going back to the election, and so sorry guys, I'm kind of bummed out. I wish I had this video ready. Okay, all right, sorry. Hopefully I can find this video. There was a great video on election parties and people getting really creative with their cooking that I can't seem to find right now. I really wanted you guys to find. Oh well, I'll play one of these other videos just in case. But my greater point. Sorry to beat around the bush, but my greater point was that we're quite literally eating this mountain of information, right? And a lot of people like to think of food as purely the food that we eat and goes into our bodies, but oftentimes it is the people that we surround ourselves with, the ideas that we have, the music that we listen to, the culture that we involve ourselves in, right? And so when we consider the food that we're taking in, is it junk food, or are you taking in something that's going to be healthy, nurturing, comforting, et cetera, right? So on a personal note, what I was feeling during this whole election season was kind of bummed out because I wasn't like, I was either stress eating or, just like snacking on stuff. I wasn't eating like good meals anymore, just because I was, you know, working or stressed out or, I wasn't, finding the same type of comfort and joy that I typically found in food. And, it's a little bit, particularly it's a little bit more difficult because of COVID-19, right? We can't really spend as much time with our loved ones. And again, like I like sharing meals with people. I like cooking for people. I like going out to eat together. That's how I like to build and nurture my relationships. So if I can find the video, I'll be sure to post it later. But let's spend a couple minutes just seeing how creative people are being, in light of this election season and, being able to express themselves with their food. Let's check out this quick video from some election day parties, some election day food ideas. This is a commercial. Right? What I've been saying. Oh, that sounds bomb. That sounds bomb. Oh, that easy? Porcini does. Mm. Wow. Oh, sound bomb. Kanaka sausage. What's that? Do some wine. Okay. Vino verde. I drink beer. Cool. That was I believe that was a Jacksonville affiliate. Um but again, it's if you listen really carefully to, what the chef was discussing, in addition to, saying like, hey, like we can have people over, we can still have, these, really deep and interpersonal relationships, but let's do it in, you know, a socially responsible way, right? So let's do that, making sure that we're, you know, social distancing, that we're doing like small group sizes, that you know, we're I guess as much as possible doing foods that, you know, we're not, you know, having to have like a ton of like, you know, contact, or, you know, a ton of food that's like a lot of scooping and, you know, all that good stuff. But I really, more than anything, just love the creativity, right? He turned what was or could be a very stressful time and turned it into a labor of love, right? And so, you know, obviously the election is different because we are in a quarantine, right? And um, that doesn't change the fact that we still have to eat. We all still have to eat, right? The world still goes round. And, you know, I believe that it's just super important that we figure out ways to, you know, not only do it in a responsible way, but to then start having some of these conversations, right? Because not everybody is lucky enough that they can be creative or are creative, or, you know, whatever it is, right? A lot of people are just, you know, stressed out. They're overeating, or they're under eating, or they're locked in a room by themselves, and that's not what food's about, right? Food is about sharing. It's about coming together. It's about, you know, making each other feel good. It's about breaking bread, all that good stuff, right? And just because we're in an election season and, you know, it feels like we're all very divisive, well, you know, my best guess is that if you can, you know, grab a bite to eat with someone, well, that's going to be the first step to, you know, building a bridge, right? And I think that's ultimately the goal. So before we get out of here, there are links in the comment section. If you know, I want you to come back next Thursday. I'm still trying to figure out the format, but the idea is that every Thursday we're hanging out, we're talking about bailing out the restaurant industry, what's happening in eating and dining, and figuring out some creative ways, you know, in order to solve the problem of what we're seeing, right? Of bailing out the restaurant industry. So if we're looking at, you know, an election day party, you know, obviously we're not doing that this time, but let's figure out some bite-sized foods that we can maybe purchase. And, you know, maybe we can go hang out at one of our favorite restaurants and have them, you know, cook a bunch of apps for us and bring them home. And let's try a bunch of, let's maybe have a meal that's made up of appetizers from our 2 or 3 or 4 of our favorite restaurants. I don't know what we can do, but the idea is that we realize that food is a great opportunity for us to get out of our heads, to get out into the world, to get out with other people, to express ourselves, all that good lovey-dovey stuff. That being said, so if you want to come back on Thursday, come back on Thursday. I want to start having guests, and I want you guys to participate. There are links in the comment section. There are 3 links. Do me a favor and check all 3 out. Go over to Food Tribe, go to foodtribusa.co/restaurant-bailout, where you can learn a little bit more about our restaurant bailout campaign. I also dropped a link into our informational packet, which really just outlines all that history I gave you guys at the beginning of this video, right? Just really explaining, you know, how we got together, why we got together, the problem that we're looking to solve, who we're looking to help. And then the 3rd link, because my memory is bad, is to, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to figure it out when I get out of here, because I can't see all this stuff in my live stream. But there's a 3rd link in there, and it's important that you check it out. I really wish I knew what it was, but I appreciate you guys. We're gonna get better at this as we move forward. Peace and love. I wish you the very best, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Take care.